Coming to you straight from the Rio Grande and beyond. Broadcasting to the four corners of the globe. So grab your seat, your coffee, or your sundowner.
Okay, everybody, here we go.
On point, as always. This is Gloves Off. Gloves Off.
Back at you in Gloves Off, and today I have a great guest and a dear friend and somebody that I look up to and mentor in what he's doing because of what he's done. And now he's running, he's just made the runoff, and here we have Lazaro Garza. How are we doing?
Paul, qué gusto estar aquí again in this beautiful facility. The pictures, the history, this is Laredo. To walk in, to hear Paul. We talked about Palacios. I just saw him last week. He's still the same, Paul.
No, he's the same. He's
Baby Red.
Baby Red,
but he ain't no Baby Red now. But I'd stay away from him, sir.
You know, and
thank you for having me this morning.
No, thank you. And let's talk about it. You started off the runoff because of some issues that had happened at your ranch, especially with the illegals crossing over. And talk about that and bring it forward and tell us why.
Paul, it's why I'm running. You know, when you called your local authorities, just before even the primary itself, I was not threatened. I was told that I had filed some papers against me, that I had said something about a local law enforcement authority. I never said Paul Bitron in Laredo. I just said some things that you called the local authorities about illegal people trespassing through our properties. And the local authorities, their hands are tight, you know, and you call INS is 100, 200, 1,000, they're running out of zip ties because they don't have enough handcuffs. But you call the local politicians, being Vicente Gonzalez of Henry's office, no, the border's closed. So why is the border closed? And you and I are Second Amendment, we're hunters. We have deer cameras. Every person in South Texas has deer cameras. You're seeing more human beings walking than hogs, pigs that are everywhere on our properties. That's impossible, sir. Now they're carrying guns. And nobody's doing anything. Then you have an individual like Mr. Quer. I've told you about why I call him Mr. Quer. You're talking about building a park. Someone who was talking to me last night, Paul, and I say the word billion with a B. He says, well, you ought to sue the word B like burro. Otra vez la burra maíz. A park. It was supposed to be millions with an M, Maria. Now it's with B, Barbara, Barbaroso. I mean, my God, $1 billion for a park? Yeah. For what, sir? When you could do with $1 billion? I spoke to Miguel about the...
Miguel Amante?
Yes, in Telemundo, we talked
great
about
person.
this fantastic, yes sir, great interview. I told him about the children's hospital. To take the children hospital, build a children's hospital in here in Laredo, children. We spoke about the 85,000 children, documented children that INS captured that have disappeared. What happens if those children have gotten sick? You're gonna fly them to San Antonio, Dallas, Fort Worth, because you can't go to McAllen or Corpus, they don't have any. Children's hospitals are $1 billion. I mentioned the airport, that I landed at the airport, and there is Henry Credit Terminal. Then I go to find out Mason Mack wrote an article that it was appropriated by what Henry had done for the community, and they named the terminal after him. I'd say sell the airport. I'm not changing his name. Use the money for this infrastructure, this hospital, sir, hospital. That's what I'm talking about. Us. We talked about us being not you and me, sir. We're talking about nosotros mexicanos que vivimos aquí, no esta gente que está pasando para acá y para atrás, llegan y les dan un teléfono nuevo, les dan debit cards, like this one right here. Give them a debit card. Here's my health savings account card for my medical charges for my Medicare. I'm 71, I'm Medicare, right? So I see where debit cards, phones, now California is letting them take welfare, home subsidy. Home subsidy. What about the vets, Paul? The vets. What about mom and dad that came across and got their legal papers and worked hard to get the papers, to get their children educated? Now they're in their 70s, 80s, they're not getting food subsidies, they're not getting this. Did you see just 2 days ago where some case had gone up before this federal judge and it was an illegal with a firearm? So now it's okay for illegals to have cards.
And some states are now saying that it's okay.
It's okay. So who are vetting these people? You know, and you and I, prior to now, that you don't have to have the law or the license, that carry right there. We never carried a gun except when we went to the ranch to kill a snake, not to defend ourselves or our own properties. We used to open our windows at night at the ranch to let the smell of the rain, when thunderstorms came. Now you can't do that, Paul, because you don't know who might come but show up.
You know, and you say that, you know, because I wanted to.
That's the reason I'm running, sir.
It's
Us, the people that nobody's listening to us, Paul.
that's
The infrastructure, the money, the waste of the money. The vets. Vets are dying left and right. They're homeless. They're probably more homeless vets, the people that just got on drugs. Vets. They spit at them when they came back from Vietnam, Paul. Afghanistan, PS,
PSTD,
yes.
PTSD.
Yes.
And you know, you said a bunch of great points, and one of them, and I understand about the immigration, and I understand about everything. We live in the best country in the world, America.
We do, sir. Let them come, but let them come
Legally,
correctly, sir.
and do it right. And I think we need immigration reform from the bottom up on how we're accepting people and so on and so forth. And not only that, people say, "Oh, you've never felt the impact of illegals crossing ranches." I have. I had a ranch in Zavala County that they were always breaking into, and people would say, "Oh, just leave food outside." Well, if you leave food outside, they're still going to break in,
Like feeding them.
and they're still going to
Just
break. They're still going to break in, and you call Border Patrol, and the Border Patrol will send what they call a ranch liaison, and they have them in every sector. They have ranch liaisons. They have two. Back then, this is talking in the early 2000s, and that ranch liaison was supposed to come out and they'll say, okay, they tore the fence, they broke the window, they broke this, they broke that, we're gonna fix you, we'll write it down here, and you're gonna get reimbursed by the government. I never got zero reimbursed.
It's like the vehicles, sir. We spoke about the vehicles.
Yes.
About this.
There's a law.
There is a law. If a rancher fence, which in the last 5 years, I put up 7 miles of fence.
Mhm.
We build them all. I operated the skid steer, sir. I never nailed it under point. I operated to drill the holes. The T-post driver. The vehicle goes over your fence, it's on your property. You legally, Paxton has been so busy doing what he's doing, I wanted to go to Austin and tell him, stop this sheriffs or law enforcement, including INS, confiscating these vehicles and selling them in their auctions. It's supposed to go where? Us, the one has been damaged. The law is there. If my property has been damaged, that vehicle stays on my possession. I store it. I get storage fees. If a bank owns it, they pay me my storage fees. They send a record. They take it. They pay me back my damages, my fence. Currently, sir, no rancher is getting paid for any damages.
And there's a lot of those bailouts. They call them bailouts. And,
Yes.
and the car goes into the ranch. They destroy property.
And the local
Authorities are supposed to.
including INS, confiscate these vehicles.
Exactly right.
And then they sell them in auctions. Where does the money go? I don't know, sir. It's not going to the person who's been damaged.
No, it's
you
not.
You and me, the farmers of South Texas.
I
We
felt
talked
that.
about where I come from, oil and gas. I made my living oil and gas. I been in oil and gas since I was in college. Prior, work over a machine out of in Freer, Texas. Gonzalez Well Service, Mr. Mastin P, Mr. Joe Gonzalez. Mario Vela was his number one man. His son Mario, they're all deceased now. But farming and ranching, I got into when I made my wealth. I bought some property. Started with 1.5 acres. Now I got several thousand acres in Duval County. I bought some more of the land in another state recently too. But again, people ask me, why are you going to Wyoming? I said, well, because Wyoming, luckily, we don't have this bailouts. But it might soon.
Oh, I have other things. You know, that's just one of the issues that we face here. And a lot of people here in Webb County, in not only Webb County, in South Texas, and in probably Arizona, everywhere else, we see that.
Yes.
But we're talking about Texas in this area. A lot of people see that, and people say, "Oh, it only happens on the riverfronts." No, it happens in inside wherever there's a farm road or wherever there's an interstate highway or a road. Bailouts are going to occur, and
Well, if you look at the
happens.
state of Texas and you cut it, the so-called point of the bottom, Laredo, San Antonio, Corpus Christi, there's only 281 north, 77, 35, 59. That's the only way to go. But if you get as far between Farfurrias and Hebronville, that's 285, all the county roads start, Paul. You can get on a county road in Texas and go all the way to Chicago on county roads.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
they don't get on the interstates.
Yeah.
So where are they destroying? They're destroying farm and ranch because they find them crossing an interstate. So they go after them. There's the bailouts. There's the killing. People 20 or 30 in the back. You know, when they have the wreck, people go everywhere. And then let's talk about going to the airports. You see them all piled up and they're putting them in planes. TSA, you and me have got to be fingerprinted. I do clear to check my eyes to get in. I have to pay for my bag. These guys are just getting on a plane with no venting. This
Absolutely.
person sitting next to me, Paul, just like you and me, might have measles. You know, the measles epidemic is coming again.
Yeah.
We all got the shots in the 50s, 60s. Measles is coming back. We don't know what else could be coming.
That's besides the point, you know, and they were so concerned about in 2020 about a pandemic, but we're going to have some other ones that are coming in.
Yes.
Now, those are just some of the residual effects
Of
this mass migration that's happening right now.
That's a great word, migration. Yes,
Migration.
It's what it is.
And the other thing that's happening, especially around the border, is that crime rate's going up, and people say, "Oh, well, that's crime rate's going up." I go, they're picking younger and younger kids, 15, 16-year-olds that can drive a car,
Correct.
and they will tell them to take a couple of illegals across a border stop. They'll pay him $1,000, $2,000. Now that kid is being stopped. Now that kid has tarnished life. Why? Because he found some easy money. Why he was led into that? People say, "Oh, well, he went on the wrong side of the road of perdition." No, they're forced into that.
They're forced into it. It's like we talked about the last time about opening up a Dairy Queen and selling ice cream to kill your customer. Fentanyl.
Yeah,
By
that's
the
another one.
thousands. There's another epidemic. So now we had COVID. You and I are short because of COVID. You know, they blame COVID for everything.
Yeah.
Before it used to be cancer, now it's COVID. Everything that's going on is COVID. What about measles when they show up?
Yeah.
These children of the United States, not only Texas, Don Nazareth are inoculated for measles because it was eradicated in the United States. It's in the third world countries. It's coming back in here. So these children in all the schools do not have measles. They're letting these children that are coming unaccounted for, with no parents' guidance, and putting them in to help school districts to charge the government pay for their education. Yes, I want them to be educated. You know how I feel about education. But please, you got to vet them. It's just like that airport that I told you. This person cannot just get in a plane, get his plane fare for free, his baggage. They don't want baggage. They don't have any baggage. They got a bag, apple, bananas, a phone, and a debit card. And when they get there, they get a hotel.
Yeah, and things are going to change. We're facing that. It's something that we're facing now. The crime rate's going up. I'm not blaming people from there, but I'm blaming the crime rate's going up in many, many facets. I mean, we see the police are tired. We see good police officers quitting. We see there's so many people say immigration is the problem for everything here. No, there's so many pieces of the American puzzle that have been removed from there, and America, they've lost them, and
Respect.
Yeah.
You called it puzzle. I call it a domino effect.
yeah,
You knock one down, they start knocking down. You just saw it recently. It's just in the news.
about
Where this man shot 3 of his children, an 8, a 4, and a 5, or something like that. Shot him. Police got there. They arrested him. He confessed it. I want to go to jail. I want to go to jail. And the policeman, probably tired of going through so much and such a tragic. He probably had children. Didn't meet him his Miranda rights. So now the judge has thrown out the case
you know, and
because his confession, his wife was there and his daughter was there, saw him shoot his children, all 3 liberals, sir, liberal, respect, values of life.
And you know, the evil will always be around.
Yes,
And you know what they say,
you know.
evil strives when good men do nothing. And right now you have to stand up for your community, because people are coming and asking for help. And help is needed here. We have a drug pandemic here. We have a issue with fentanyl here.
Yeah.
And people say, how's it coming here? It's coming across the border because the border's open. I mean,
We talked about border, Paul.
I mean-
All these meetings throughout the whole district, 9 counties. In this primary, I took 6 of the 9 counties. I lost in the northern counties. McMullen County, for some reason or other, I know the ranchers, oil and gas, and also because of hunting, Second Amendment, they forgot that Lazaro was parenthesis Larry. We've corrected that in my billboards and in my flyers. Larry, parenthesis, Lazaro Garza. That's registered as a Republican, that's Lazaro Garza. My passport, my driver's license, Lazaro Garza Jr. Atascosa County, sir, I took it. Bexar County, got hurt. Guadalupe County, I got hurt. Nobody knew who was Lazaro Garza. This lady that I had for me, she wanted to do a poll. I said, poll for what? The poll came back that nobody knew Lazaro Garza. I should have clicked on me. They knew me as Larry Garza. Larry Garza, you and I spoke. My poor mother never understood why, because they couldn't pronounce Lazaro.
So he used to call you Larry.
Yes, called me
Nickname,
Larry.
yeah, sure.
In elementary, in Corpus Christi. This gentleman that's running against me in this runoff wanted to talk to me. I said, Mr. Furman, let's think about this, Mr. Furman. You were a commander. You're supposed to be a gentleman. Do you want to practice your Spanish with me? Do you want to practice and say refugio Texas? When you can speak the language, you can represent this district, all 28 counties. But don't go around telling this constituency, this great state of Texas, South Texas, and I know what my home, that you live in it. You live in D.C., sir. You yourself just admitted to me that you wouldn't be to move your family from your son graduated from D.C., sir. I said, no. That shows honor, respect. You caring about your family. I would leave your son there, yes. But don't say that you live in the barrio of South San Antonio, because you don't, sir. All retired vets live in the north side. And when your dad was an officer, they lived in the north side. Well, my brother-in-law, Raul Garza, retired major, great gentleman, had children, went to Vietnam, chemical welfare, retired major, from Benavides, Texas, Garza. He was Garza, he married my sister, Rosie Garza.
Mm-hmm.
So, no, sir, we need to stay up and get at it, get these people out to vote. But it isn't, you and I discussed it recently, if you voted in the Democratic primary for your local sheriff, your local constables, your tax assessor collector, you cannot vote in the runoff as a Republican. But if you didn't vote, and we know what the percentages are, what was the turnout? I had 38 votes in Jim Hall County, yet I know everybody in Jim Hall County. And Duval County will say, well,
You know, and it's funny to say that, because you see that because most of South Texas is Democrat based.
yes,
And I'm just gonna talk about Webb County and in what's going on in Webb County. You have, when in the past elections, going back to 2000, up to 2000.
Doing great.
before that. And the Republicans, they're about 3,000 votes, maybe 4,000 votes on a presidential election. Maybe, okay? But an early vote tells you who wins. An early vote, I can tell you who's winning from where is that. Just because of the people that are pulling out votes. People don't understand that. People, in early vote, you have to pull out votes. Most of the people that vote in early voting are the people that work for any of the municipalities, like the city of Laredo, Webb County, many of the departments of Webb County, both school districts, both LISD and UISD. And people say, how do you know that? Because they check the list every day, and they'll call you up and they'll tell you, hey, you know what? Your wife didn't vote, your son didn't vote, your daughter didn't vote, and we need you to vote.
That information.
So it's there, and people say, oh, they can't do that. It's there. It doesn't tell you who you vote. It tells you actually what party you voted for, Democrat or Republican.
In the primary.
In the
In general, nobody knows what you
right.
like.
In
And I like the general.
Yeah, I like it. I wish it was all like the
And
general.
always, just like the general. You walk in and you vote
Right.
Republican, Democrat. So
That's
in
it.
a runoff, off, you can vote either way.
And what happens is that
So actually, we segregated.
we're not only segregating, discriminating, and you're oppressing, because those people work there. And here we live in South Texas, and you know the way it is. I mean, we can go back to ballot box number 13.
My dad used to, and I'm very familiar with File 13. I knew the player, Mr. George Parr. My dad was raised with George Parr. He was born and raised in Duval County. They were the same age.
Yeah.
I think I told you a story
Yeah,
about
yeah,
my dad and
yeah.
George Parr. I met the man personally. He came, seeked me and my brother, Yonel Garza, moved their country, and seeked us out to tell us a story. He said, you know the story about me and your dad's? I said, he's still alive. He lives here, sir. He says, yes, I'd like to see him. And we went and they reminisced old stories. I'm talking about this being from 1900, that was 1902.
Yeah. And that Partido Viejo that they call it.
They called it El Partido Viejo.
Yeah.
But see, El Partido Viejo was Grand Old Party.
Yes.
That was the bad boys.
Yes.
That was the bad boys, the Republicans. Grand Old Party.
El Partido
El
Viejo.
Partido Nuevo is los Democrats.
Yes.
You know?
And what happened was that, and what happens, they'll call you and they'll tell you, and now they'll
You gotta
blackball you and they'll do
No,
this
you
and
gotta
all
go
that. All
vote.
that
You gotta
happens.
go- you gotta
have to
vote.
go vote.
He went
So
around-
everybody votes Democrat.
Let's talk about it. He controlled everybody. He elected Lyndon B. Johnson.
Yes.
File 13. Anything from Laredo to San Antonio to Corpus down, they called him and they said, who do you want to be the state representative, county judge, everything. They had to go through him. That was like Daley in Chicago. Daley controlled Chicago the same way.
Yes, absolutely. And
Democrats.
he was known as the Duke of Duval.
He shared. If you call him like a Robin Hood, he stole thousands of dollars and bought the Dobie Ranch, a very famous Dobie. He wrote a book about Texas, Dobie Ranch. He bought it. When they found out about it, they threw him in jail. He had to sell the ranch, sir. This is a great story, because he stood there in court and said, it was the best investment the bank, not the bank, but the county ever did. I sold it for more money than I paid for it. So the county made money. But that's not the way. He wasn't going to pay the money back. But he just borrowed the money, wrote a check, bought a ranch with it, a huge ranch.
Yeah.
I don't know, I have no idea how big the Dobie Ranch, I know how big the Duval County ranch is, over 100,000. It's owned by a family from here now, right? But it's comical, you know, because if you look back at this migration, I like that word that you call them, all immigrants, migration, I call it IN. They're not immigrants. It is not immigration. It is IN, which is an invasion of our way of life. But we have been invaded by we don't know who. It's amazing that no more children are coming, no more women are coming, just men of under 35 of age from all walks of life. They're not seeking political asylum. They're Chinese. Did you see the article about this assassins that have been coming in to kill one of our ex-governors?
Yeah, no, it's
From Texas.
From Texas.
President of the United States.
An ex-president,
Mr.
yes. And it's,
That's in the news. Can you have to read this? It's like a novel.
you can't make it up.
Oh,
I mean, and I, it's what I do, but, I've been doing it for many, many years, and teaching people how to defend themselves and learning how to fight and doing everything else. But the fight is on us.
we don't need a knife. We need guns now,
Yeah,
because
now,
they're
the
coming,
fight is
they're
upon
coming
us.
with guns, sir.
Yeah.
I've seen them in my camera with guns.
Yes, I
They
used to see them over-
they walk in cadence in black. People say,
And they-
do you have videos? I said, what do you want? It renews, because a deer or pig goes by, it renews, and then it explains. I didn't save any of those videos.
You know
All we
that
gotta do is go look at the new ones.
You know, a lot of people don't understand this, but I've seen it, and I've seen it in my ranch, and I've seen what they've done, and I've seen them. They get carpet, like a carpet,
It won't step.
and they'll cover the shoes
It won't
with
make
carpet,
it.
so it won't make an imprint, and everybody walks in there, and you just see carpet throughout the whole thing, and.
Mine walked in cadence. The ones I've seen, all dressed in black, with square backpacks, they walk in cadence, so it's only one person walking.
Yeah.
But there's 10 in a row.
Yes, and
And the guns.
and the guns, and they all the shoes. That's what they have. A lot of people don't understand that Border Patrol shoes, especially if they're in the field, they're marked. They're marked from what sector they're at. The heel is, so it leaves an imprint that can tell you which Border Patrol goes out there, and people don't know that.
The
So
disking of the roads, they
Right.
used to be done for brush fire. People
Right.
would smoke and throw smoke in, and then brush fire started from the edge
Exactly.
of the road. Now it's done for them to see who come out.
Mm-hmm.
And if they go across the road, that means they walked across the road, that means they're going that way. Then they send the drones.
Yep.
Talk about drones, talk about the so-called invasion, migration of human beings. You can take a drone and fly over the Rio Grande and see a fish. So you can count how many people they're catching them. This Long Star program, I'm very familiar with it. They run the drone and they catch the coyote, as we call them. Where the guys get in the money to bring him across, put him out of the loop. But you don't need him, because now they're not even using them.
right,
But they're paying over there absorbent amount of money, thousands and thousands of dollars. And we're not talking about $2,500, we're talking about $25,000, $30,000 for one human being from Iraq, from Iran, or from China. I have no idea how much they're charging for China. So
No.
everybody getting rich, but we're not. And we're just giving the money when they get here. We're giving them. VAs are being thrown out. Vets.
and there's a lot of wrongs. You know, there was a meme that they threw out in social media, and they had a bunch of Border Patrols, and they had like alligators, and they said security. So now everybody says, oh, there's alligators in the Rio Grande. There's always been alligators in the Rio Grande.
Yeah.
Alligators are part of the Rio Grande, part of the Nueces, part of the Frio, all the way up to, we have
They don't eat
alligators.
humans.
You
They
know-
got plenty to eat.
You know,
Pigs.
they, every so often you'll have one get taken away, but what happens is that's part of the animals that we have, you know. We also have jaguar here, you've seen them. We also
Talk
have
about-
jaguarundi and
Talk
also.
about
everything
the
else.
environment, talking about snakes. Snakes don't rattle anymore
Yeah,
because the pigs started eating the snakes.
absolutely.
Rattlesnakes rattle, snakes eat them. People are just shocked about that. They don't rattle. I said, no, they don't. That's the reason I go everywhere with snake boots. Even this fancy Texas boots that I wear, they're snake boots. They have the liner.
Yeah.
All my boots that I wear in South Texas.
And you have to, people say you don't, you have to, and,
They don't. Those people that walk, take tennis shoes or whatever they got. There's so many of them. And a snake. There was a gentleman from Fremont, Texas, got bit. He was over 6'6", 6'7". The snake bit him above the knee, above the snake bit. That was one big snake. What I was upset about was that the snake got away. They were worried about taking care of the man, the guy, the dog handler out of Fremont. That snake got away. Imagine that snake to have struck that high above a knee, and a man 6'6", 6'7".
that's a big snake.
And we've seen them.
I've seen them, and people don't understand the dangers out there. In a
Well, the
ranch
dead
2
people,
years
the people
ago,
that are dead out there.
Yeah. How many?
I found them dead.
I found them dead.
You know.
We
I
had
waited-
one that we found 2 years ago.
I waited 5 days before somebody showed up with a cardboard box and put the bones, marked it down. I had a carpenter building me a tower, shooting tower. I got him to make me a cross. And every time I go out there in that piece of property, I stop and I pray for his poor soul. But about all the thousands that are out there that have never been found.
Absolutely. You see, a lot of people don't understand that. You know that a lot of
It's
these
like
guys go out there and get
you-
lost in
Yeah,
that.
like you and me are just telling a story, like we're in a beer joint in Alitos, Texas, JJ Beer Joint, having a beer and telling a story about what you found. It's not a dead animal, it's a human being. They left a mother, a father, a child, a husband, a wife, somewhere behind. Women, they find women too.
All the time. All the time. I
And
remember.
who is bringing them? They're paying. Somebody's paying. That's what I want to know. This NGOs, where does this money come from? I'm not talking about Mr. Query yet, because I'm not going to answer Mr. Query. We're here to talk about my runoff on January the 20th. I mean, I keep on saying January, but January is my birthday, the 26th. But we're talking about May the
May-
28th.
May
Yeah, but on
28th.
the 20th, we early voted. And who wants to come out on May the 20th? Because on the 27th, Monday is a holiday. So you're gonna be gone Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then you're gonna be too tired to go Tuesday. You gotta go back to work, if you have a job. Because we know what happened to our oil and gas. You know what happened to our malls here in Laredo.
And that's something that we have to, because you've been involved in oil and gas for a very long
Yes.
time. And when you're,
Drill. You gotta
drill-
go back to drilling, get the
and-
permits off, get this environmental, yes, you have to protect the environment, the water table, with fracking, yes. No, well has been destroyed because of fracking yet, though it hasn't been documented. Hasn't. Yes, you have to protect the environment, the water table. Yes, I understand all that. But you cannot handicap them where they can't drill anymore. We were independently wealthy. Wealthy in oil and gas, that's what I mean. Wealthy in oil. Now we're paying $4 for diesel. It's gotta go to $5.
in California, it's
Well,
eight.
$5, it's 8. But it's the fuel shortages are coming, like in the 70s.
Yeah, it'll be here. It'll be here.
Sooner or later, because he sold the reserves. He gave it away.
You see, that's what we need back up there. We need people that have been in business like you, that are able to, that are able to negotiate a contract on the spur. We do not need people that cannot negotiate contracts. And not negotiate contracts because somebody
Let's speak about
is gonna help them out later on.
let's speak about the gentleman that I was running against. Mr. Leon, nice gentleman. You want to talk about the Bible and the Exodus? Yes, I understand migration, Moses and the Bible. Mr. Jose Sanz, remember, I keep on calling them misters because they are gentlemen. I was brought up that way. My dad, my brother, 1940, 1902, my dad. Respect for human beings. Dios mira todo. Mr. Furman, he's a vet. Doesn't speak our language. He doesn't live in the district. That's it. They have no values of what we're going through. They don't live here. They've never. I told you my dad would stay up at night. We talked about Henry. The big winter front we had here in December. I bought 200 blankets and met some activists here and gave blankets, not to the homeless on the street, Paul. I gave them to old people in their homes. Not heaters, because people can't afford. And you know what happens to like the heaters? They throw a blanket over and they start a fire. Then I would have been blamed. Not that I didn't mind being getting blamed, but at least I kept them warm. My dad used to make a fire and bring brasas in with coals. We used to smell like smoke. We had headaches, carbon monoxide. They didn't even know that word.
You know, you made an excellent point. Because when you look at people, when you research people, you research your candidates, and everybody has to research each and every candidate. And some of them, and this forum I've done here, it's open to anybody. I'll talk to anybody. And when I see that, and you research people, you've always been that way. You've always been helping your community, not just because you're running. You've
No.
always been doing it
I've been
since the
doing
beginning.
it for
And-
years. It's not
and that's people that I know.
I say things about Aggies. I tell people Aggies, they stick together like ticks. What do you call an Aggie on Monday? Boss. I talk bad about Aggies. I shouldn't, because my A&I Kingsville became Texas A&M too. I've sent 5 or 6 children to A&M. I own a condo at A&M. I gave a scholarship last year in honor of my dad and my brother, $262,500. I did a real estate deal. I told you about it. The Lord gave it, I give it away. $262,500. And then Paul, I gave it for women. My campaign people said, you can't go around saying that you only give it to women. That's discrimination. I said, he who dictates terms of surrender is the one who won the war. It's my money. I wish to give it. I have 9 sisters.
And you're honoring your sister.
When my sisters, and more importantly, when you're 35, 40, and your husband leaves, they can't take your education. You can support yourself and your children. You stay in your home. You keep the car. You don't go back to mama's house or to your house, Paul.
Yeah.
I only have one son. He's with his mom. He's divorced in the 80s. He's always lived with his mom.
You know, you made an excellent point. Education is number one, it's the key. What's also key is, all those little pieces that are wrong.
Respect.
Our school systems have to change, our school districts have to
Father
change.
figures,
Yes,
in one of my wanderings, they asked me if I was pro-life. I'm number 10 of 13 children. I thought I answered it pretty well when I said that. And what it was thrown back at me was that, no, my mother was pro-life. I said, really, you don't think I am? I said, even Donald J. Trump just 2 weeks ago changed his outlook. It's choice, the person. If it's going to be her dying to save the child, the woman has to make the decision. She's got 4 or 5 other kids. Incest, rape, deformity, all these things, choice, Because if you stop it like what they were trying to do, then they're going to go back just to going through curanderas, the word. Just anybody with pills or drugs, or the old horrible way of aborting a child.
In the back alleys.
Yes,
and
that's
so
what
on.
I'm talking
Yeah, and that.
knives and whatever they did it. But what I'm saying is, yes, that's clinics. But recently I saw an article in the state of Ohio, sir, since the inception of Roe v. Wade till it stopped, 20 million, sir, black children were aborted. That's enough times to fill Ohio Stadium 194 times. That's where Michigan and Ohio State play every, and they played over 100,000 spectators. 20 million were documented in Ohio, and the black ministers. ¿Te acuerdas cuando tu papá y tu mamá te decían, te regañaban? Cuídate porque Dios mira todo. Mi papá hizo sus manos así. Cuídate, mijo, porque Dios mira todo.
Absolutely. And you have to be that way. I mean, there's
I'm
law and order.
I'm a businessman, holy gas, and I'm talking about abortion, because it affects us. Us is who we're talking about, though. Us, who I speak the language. I know the cares of these communities. To tell you about your beautiful mall that I used to come and buy arrow shirts, it's gone.
No,
The hues and pants, they're gone. All the malls, 60% unoccupied.
Yeah.
Your restaurants go across the border to have at the feet, great seafood. The Cadillac, gone years now, for years. They sold it. There's one in Houston. They put a Cadillac bar in New York, sir.
Yeah.
And that was that famous. An oil and gas person bought and took it to Houston, took it to New York. The lady that used to work there came, went to Houston. She had bandolero with shot glasses. They thought it was the greatest thing. I mean, you and me don't drink tequila. I mean, we'll look at it, got a cold or something. But in New York, they thought it was the greatest thing. What did the cost of tequila go from $5 to how much? $500, $1,000. Everybody, even George Strait, I think, has got their own tequila brand.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great band.
Yeah.
You can get into it, and but it's like this. And
So we're talking about tequila, we're talking about abortion. It affects everything in this great community, sir.
except those
Children,
little pieces,
yeah,
those pieces go
the domino,
the domino effect.
domino
Yeah.
effect. The fentanyl, the park. I'm not running against Mr. Hendrick Ware right now. I'm running after Mr. Furman, who speaks English. I speak English. I was educated in the system. My dad, I was in the 5th grade, told me I had only one job in this world, Paul, to go to school, to learn English, read and write, speak for him. Then he and I could accomplish our American dream. I did the dream for my dad. God bless my dad. God bless the United States, Paul. Thank you
Absolutely.
so much for your time.
No,
To
thank
come
you.
here again, sir, to do this, God, it's just a great feeling to see the pictures of all the students that have gone through here, sir. And Paul, I mean, the pictures, the history, there are so many places here in Laredo that used to be like this, sir.
Yeah.
Big deer mounts. Well, some of the biggest deer here, killed right here. Sombrerito Ranch.
Where,
right
where,
here.
where are they? They're thrown away.
They're gone.
They're
They're
gone.
gone. They,
Yeah,
don't even,
people-
they don't even sell them to cabals.
No.
Cabals are all going to broke.
Yeah.
I saw where I just took it down. How many, all the Sears are gone. There's only 2 Kmart's left in the United States. All the Sears are gone.
Got Burger Kings are closing.
No, all the Burger Kings.
Yeah, and then you're like, what's going on? And it's
You
want
want
some.
to pay $20 to flip hamburgers in California? Yes, they should be paid $10, $5, but 20 oil fuel. I started at $2. That was a lot of money, Paul.
And let's just take even like here. We've been here since '88.
In this
And
facility,
in this facility, we've been here for '88. This was started, This was started for my uncle, my dad's brother, and they used to teach people around the neighborhood here for free. My dad taught here for free for many, many years. I came in here in 2000, and we started charging minimum. And then it's gone up because of everything else has gone up. Just to keep it alive, you have to keep it up. And people come and they say, wait a minute, how come you don't teach it for free? And how come you don't teach for classes for free? I teach for free, but how about everything else that we have to pay for, you know?
The taxes? The
And
tax
I
base
said
has been destroyed here. The tax base in this beautiful
It's
community.
shot.
Yeah, there is no tax base.
You know-
Oil field's gone.
And that's a good thing, what I'm getting at. But what I'm saying is, there's stuff out there. We have kids here that are for free. I teach a bunch of kids here every year for free. The county helps us out to buy their uniforms, but we don't pay the instructors. We teach them for free. But and I'm stopping the program this year because we can't continue it. And we can't continue it. I'm gonna tell you why. Because of the way the parents act towards the kids. The kid wants to learn. The parents do not have. If you want your child to be disciplined, you have to have discipline yourself, or else
You
nothing's gonna
remember
happen.
when we were children, if your sister or their parents found out that you got spanked at school,
Oh, man.
you got a worse whipping at home because they would tell you, I work all day en el sol para mandarte a la escuela y tú crees que esos hombres saben menos que tú. Tú eres el estudiante.
Mhm.
You are my son, and then we whip you because teachers will show respect.
Oh, no,
But
you
the
know-
respect came from home, sir. That is why.
Absolutely.
The same thing with this school to jail, back to jail.
Yeah, it's called the School to Prison Pipeline Districts, and we
it's-
have it.
and
It's here. It's
here.
throughout Texas.
It's South here in Texas, you know. You
And,
read about it in the paper every day, the Laredo News.
And the people need to understand what it is. People need to know what we have to do, and just take it that route. But
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I
want to thank you.
No, thank you, sir.
And,
Vote Lazaro Garza, May 28th. I don't know why I keep on wanting to say January, but January.
And vote Republican.
Vote
and
Republican.
And guess what, guys? If you've never voted and you're a conservative Democrat, you can vote Republican this time around. And there's nothing against Mr. Cuellar. I know him very personally as well. Same. And the thing is, he's an excellent individual. But it's a government administration that's going on now.
That he votes, and he's not standing there screaming. He's not doing that, sir. He just keeps on voting. We saw in the State of the Union, him and Mr. Gonzalez were standing right there greeting the president. Of course, if I was there, I would have met him too. He's the president of the United States. My brother made it very clear. He is the commander in chief.
Absolutely.
We support the American way.
But we have to
American
change the
flag.
way we are, or we're no longer going to have an
We're not gonna
American
have
way.
that flag. We're not gonna have a race, Mexicanos. I don't know what we're gonna be, sir. We won't have.
And
the
we're
United
not gonna
States
be
of-
Americans.
We're not
Yeah.
gonna be United States of America.
Our way of the traditions of Americana are going to be gone if we do not stand up.
Education, respect, from whom?
Yep.
Thank you, sir.
No, thank you. And folks, if you like this, share it, comment, tell us where you're commenting from. And
Yes, where you're from is very important.
yeah, where you're
And
from.
feel free to
Like-
contact me, Lazaro Garza or Lazaro for Congress.
.com.
.com.
Yeah. So you can find out.
We take donations, but I'm not asking for donations, Paul. I'm funded in 100%. I have no PACs. The Republican Party is not giving me $1, sir. I have one individual friend of mine, attorney, gave me $3,300, which is the max amount. My shoe shine person gave me $100. He wrote me a check. I said, no, I want you 100. I was paying him for shoes my shoes. I said, write me a check, personal check. And then I took a picture and deposited it back out. My man that I go to a Mexican restaurant gave me $100. That's what's supposed to be, sir. Not PACs, not Facebook, not Amazon. Okay? People that care about what I'm speaking about.
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
You all stay safe, be safe, and remember, God bless you all.